Hi everyone, this is Helloangel.design. Today we are making this beautiful mini traveling bag. You can even use it as your baby carry item when you're going out. But for today, this bag is made because we are traveling to South Africa, and I thought to myself, let me make this bag for my little baby that I just gave birth to not long ago. So all her items that she's going to use in the flight, the diaper, the food, everything is going to be in this bag. It is cute and easy to make, and it's a step-by-step tutorial. Please watch the video until the end so that you don't miss anything out. All my measurements will be on the description box below. Always check the description box below. Majority of you don't check the description box below. You run to the comment section. Where is the measurement? Where is the measurement? The measurement is always on the description box below. Please subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends and loved ones. Support us on all social media platforms at Helloangel.design. Watch us on Facebook, Helloangel.design, and you can also support me by giving me stars or buy me a cup of coffee. So let's jump right to this tutorial. First thing that you're going to do, you're going to prepare your fabric. I have already prepared my fabric, and I will tell you the measurement of my fabric, and I will also put it down on the description box below. This is my pocket fabric, 34 centimeter by length or 34 centimeter by width. So you're going to put your fabric on fold. You're using inches, 13.5 inch and 13.5 inch for the pocket fabric. And this is my zipper. My zipper length is 66 centimeter or 26 inch. And this is my handle, 61 centimeter or 24 inch. This is my made fabric. I cut two pieces of this fabric, 28 centimeter by length or 11 inch, 61 centimeter by width or 24 inch. You're going to cut two pieces. And this is also my made fabric. This will be at the bottom of the bag, 32 centimeter by length or 12.5 inch, 61 centimeter by width or 24 inch. You're going to cut one pieces. And this is my lining. My lining fabric, you're going to cut 84 centimeter by length or 33 inch, 61 centimeter by width or 24 inch. This is how I cut my fabric. So let's put the bag together. First thing that you're going to do, you take the bottom of your fabric, you fold it into two like this. Make sure they are folded into two properly. What you are going to do, you place your measuring tape or your ruler, you measure inside 9 centimeter is right here. You measure it again, 9 centimeter is right here, and you come down to this other side. You repeat the same process, 9 centimeter, 9 centimeter. If you're using inches, you can measure 3.5 inch. Also repeat the same process on this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect this mark together. The next thing that you have to do, you fold your lining into two. My lining is folded into two like this. What you are going to do, you are going to measure 9 centimeter by length and 9 centimeter by width. Once you take that measurement, take your ruler and connect the mark together, and take your scissors and cut it out. I have cut it out. This is how it is. The next thing for you to do is to pick your made fabric. Take your made fabric to your ironing board, iron interfacing on your fabric, which I have already done that. So what I'm going to do, I am going to put them together like this. Make sure that both front fabric are facing each other. I'll go ahead and stitch it all the way down, and I will come down to this other side. I'll place the second pieces, place it on top of the fabric like this. I'll take it to my sewing machine. I will stitch it all the way down. I have stitched it together. This is how it is. I take it to my ironing board. I press the seam apart. The next thing that you have to do, you take your fabric to your sewing machine. You are going to top stitch on both sides. top stitch all the way down. Come down to this other side, you go ahead and top stitch. So repeat the same thing on this side. You top stitch on both sides of the fabric. The next thing that you have to do, you take your pocket fabric. My fabric is folded into two. What I'm going to do, I will take it to my sewing machine. I will stitch it all the way down and then stitch it to a certain point. I will make sure that I leave a gap so that I will be able to turn my fabric inside out. So I will leave this gap and I will continue stitching, and I will stitch it all the way down. Once you have done stitching, turn it inside out, take it to an ironing board and give it a good press. I have top stitch on both sides of the fabric. This is how it is once you have done that. And I've also stitched my pocket together. I turn it inside out right here. This is the open gap. The next thing that you have to do, take your pocket to your sewing machine and run a straight stitch all the way down. Once you have done that, you take your lining. So this is my lining. What we are going to do, we are going to pin our pocket on our lining. Before you do that, take your fabric to your ironing board, fold it into two like this so that you have a center crease on your lining, or you can also use hand to give it a crease at the center of your fabric. Once you have done that, the next thing that you have to do, you pick your measuring tape or your ruler, place it like this. You are going to take a measurement of 15 centimeter. If you're using inches, you can measure 6 inch or 5.75 inch. Before you place your pocket on your lining, what you are going to do, fold your pocket into two. Also use your hand to give it a crease like this. Once you have done that, place your pocket on your lining. Before you stitch your pocket on your lining, make sure you run a straight stitch at the top edge first before stitching your pocket on your lining. And this open gap will be at the bottom of your fabric. So I will just place it like this. So I'm just showing you how to place it. You place it like this. What you are going to do, pin it all around, take it to your sewing machine, run a straight stitch all the way around. Once you have done that, the next thing that you have to do, you pick your made fabric. So you open your made fabric like this. What you are going to do, you pick your zipper, place your zipper on your made fabric. When you are placing your zipper, this is the mat of my zipper. Place it like this on your made fabric. Take it to your sewing machine and run a straight stitch all the way down. I have stitched my pocket on the lining. This is how it is once you have done that. And I've also stitched my zipper on the made fabric. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, pick your lining. I am going to put them together like this. I will make sure that both front fabric are facing each other. Place your lining on top of it like this. Take it to your sewing machine and run a straight stitch all the way down. I have top stitched my lining together. This is how it is. Once you have done that, you can see the way I stitch it together. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to stitch our zipper on this side of the fabric. So I will just turn my fabric like this and I will open my lining and I will pick my zipper and I will place it on this other side of the bag. I will secure that with a pin like this. When you are placing your zipper on your fabric, make sure that the mouth of the zipper is facing the made fabric, while the back of the zipper will be facing the lining. So I will go ahead and pin it all the way around. I have pinned my zipper on the made fabric. This is how it is. What I'm going to do, I will take it to my sewing machine. I will run a straight stitch all the way down. Once I am done with that, I will pick my lining. You can see the way it is. You pick your lining, you place it on top of it like this. You go ahead and run a straight stitch for the second time. When you are running a straight stitch for the second time, you will flip your bag like this. Continue from your stitch line before. I have given it a top stitch. This is how it is once you have stitched your bag together. What we are going to do, we are going to turn the bag inside out. I have turned my bag inside out. What I'm going to do, I will take it to my ironing board. I'll go ahead and give it a good press on the zipper side. Once I am done pressing, I will take it to my sewing machine. I'll run a straight stitch all the way down. And I'll come down to this other side. I'll run a straight stitch all the way down. I have top stitch on the zipper side. This is how it is once you have done stitching. The next thing that you have to do is to pull your bag inside out. I have turned my bag inside out. This is how it is. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to pin the both side seam of our bag. So take your pin it all around. Remember to leave a gap on the lining side. I have pinned the both side seam of my bag. This is how it is once you have done pinning. And I leave a gap right here. You can see the gap. So what we are going to do, we are going to top stitch the both side seam. When you are stitching, you stitch it all the way down. When you get to where the zipper is, do not stitch across. Stitch it in, back stitch at the beginning, back stitch at the end on this side, and continue stitching from here. You stitch it all the way down. You come down to this other side, you repeat the same process. Back stitch at the beginning from the bottom edge and back stitch on this side, leave a gap, continue stitching, back stitch at the beginning and back stitch at the end right here. Do not stitch across the zipper, and you continue from here. You stitch it all the way down. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. All my seam allowance are always 1 centimeter. I have stitched the side seam of my bag. This is how it is, and this is the open gap right here. The next thing for us to do is to bust the corners of the bag. All you have to do, put them together like this. Take it to your sewing machine and run a straight stitch. You come down to this other side, you repeat the same process. Put them together like this. Take it to your sewing machine and run a straight stitch. And on this other side, the same thing. Put them together, run a straight stitch. Put this other side together and run a straight stitch. Before you stitch everything together, make sure you open your zipper halfway so that you can be able to turn your bag inside out. I have stitched it together. This is how it is once you have done that. I have also stitched on this other side. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to turn our bag inside out from this open gap. I have turned it inside out. This is how it is. The next thing for you to do is to take your bag to your sewing machine. You close this open gap. Once you have done closing this open gap, take it to an ironing board and give it a good press. I have top stitched the open gap. This is how it is once you have done that. And I take it to my ironing board. I give it a good press. This is how it is once you have pressed your bag together. You can see how beautiful that is. The next thing that you have to do, you cut a long piece of fabric. The length of my fabric is 21 centimeter. The width is 5.5 centimeter. What you are going to do, you take it to an ironing board, you fold it into two, and then you have a crease in between the fabric. You fold these raw edges inside that crease. You fold the other side inside that crease. What you are going to do, take it to your sewing machine, go ahead and run a straight stitch all the way down, and you come to this other side, you run a straight stitch all the way down, and you pick the second pieces. The way I'm going to stitch the second pieces is going to be different. This is my D-ring and this is my hook. The hook right here, you can see how small it is. It is not big like the D-ring. So I'm going to stop stitch the second fabric differently. So what you are going to do, you fold the both raw edges inside that center crease, and then you fold it all over again, and you go ahead and give it a top stitch on both sides of the fabric. I have cut out the excess of my zipper. The next thing that you have to, you pick your fabric, you are going to place it at the edge of this zipper. So you place it like this so that though both edges are facing each other, and then you pick your D-ring, place it inside like this. So you place it inside, you go ahead and stitch it together. Once you have done stitching, then you fold this inside and you use it to cover the raw edges like this. And then you top stitch all over again for the second time. You stitch it down and then you stitch it down. You also repeat the same process on this other side. I have given it a top stitch. This is how it is. You top stitch twice on the fabric, and also repeat the same process on this other side. Top stitch twice on the fabric. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to place the second fabric inside our hook and stitch it on the side seam of our bag. Before you do that, make sure you put your hand inside your bag like this and you fix it very properly. And from the bottom edge, I measure inside 2 centimeters. What you are going to do, this is my fabric, you place it inside like this, and then you fold the fabric like this. Once you fold the fabric, you fold these raw edges inside, and then you fold it on top of it like this. See the way I fold it? What you are going to do, you are going to place it like this. You take it to your sewing machine, you stitch it across, and then you stitch it all over again. Just the same way we stitch our D-ring, you are going to stitch twice on the fabric. And then you come down to this other side, you repeat the same process. I have given it a top stitch. This is how it looks once you have done that. Stitch it on both sides. The next thing for you to do is to stitch your handle on the bag. So do that, place your bag like this. You can see the way I place it like this. So what we are going to do, we are going to take a measurement. From the side seam, we are going to take a measurement of 18 centimeters or 7 inches. When you are taking your measurement, make sure that your measuring tape is at the side seam of the bag. So you measure it all the way down, 18 centimeters or 7 inches. Measure it a little bit so that you can connect the mark together. I have connected the mark together. You are going to repeat the same process on this side. 18 centimeters or 7 inches. Once you have done that, the next thing for you to do is to pick your measuring tape, place it on your bag like this. From the zipper mat all the way down, you're going to measure 14 centimeters. If you're using inches, you can measure 5.5 inches. So I will just mark it all over again. Make sure to also repeat the same process on this side. I have taken the measurement. This is how it is. The next thing for you to do is to pick your handle and place it like this. This is my 14 centimeters or 5.5 inches. You place it like this and you use your pin to secure the handle on the fabric. When you are securing the handle on your fabric, make sure that you place your hand inside so that you don't pin on the other side of the fabric. I have pinned it together. This is how it is, and I also repeat the same process on this other side. This is how it is. The next thing for you to do is to take it to your sewing machine. Go ahead and give it a top stitch all the way down like this, and you turn to the other side. Go ahead and give it a top stitch. When you are stitching, make sure you separate your bag. Don't stitch them together. You stitch it. Once you have done that, the final look of this beautiful bag making will be ready. This is the final look of my bag. It's beautiful, step-by-step tutorial, and I've stitched the handle in place. This is how it is once you have done stitching yours. This is how the inside will look. I use a matchy thread inside, and I also use a matchy thread to stitch the handle on the back. When you make this bag, you will enjoy making this bag. It's a mini traveling bag, or you can even use it as your baby carry item when you are going out. It is quite cute and nice. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends and loved ones. And I will catch you in my next one. Bye for now.